The Spiceroot Wine Farm on the southern slopes of Paarl Mountain played host to round 2 of the Western Cape Cross Country Mountain Bike Series recently. The weekend's action wasn't confined to lap racing, with the South African Downhill Championships taking place at the same venue the following day. The massive growth in popularity of the Olympic form of mountain biking, XCO, was evident in a big field of riders who'd entered across 13 different age groups of men and women, starting with the nippers aged 8 to 10 all the way to the grandmaster men at 60 years and older. 235 boys, girls, men and women turned up to race. The youth boys race had no fewer than 40 keen young men taking on 4 laps of the ultra-tough track. The steep south-facing slopes of the mountain are ideal for vineyards and produce world-class wines, and the adjacent access roads make for brutally tough climbs on loose, sandy surfaces. Neil van der Vyver was firing well, after firing out a lap of 12 minutes and 23 seconds on his first effort. Benjamin Fourie was chasing hard. Daniel Bristow was followed by Liam Rotenbach of the Granny Gear Club. Van der Vyver, who started his sporting life out on a motocross bike, has quickly established himself as the top young racer in the 15 to 16 years youth age group, harvesting wins wherever he races. Fourie is a super committed rider who's at Paarl Gymnasium, and he rides regularly with some of the best elite racers in the country while training in Stellenbosch. Namibian Sean Lowe had moved up into 4th place. He was one of 5 from north of the Orange River in the race. Marco and Franco Thiel were also making their way up the leaderboard. The lap was not just vineyard tracks, with a mazy and fun switchback descent back down the mountain. The strong boys up front were clocking times between 13 and 14 minutes in the intense Boerland summer heat. The round of the series was a UCI category event, so opportunities were there to earn ranking points for juniors, and this therefore was a vital race for all these young men and women. Hence the presence of 11 young Namibians in Paarl for the event, one of whom, Marco Thiel, was piling on the pressure, having started far back on the grid. Van der Vyver was in a class of his own though. Behind him there was a fierce battle raging, Fourie, Bristow and Thiel fighting it out for second place. Fourie's superior climbing strength seems to give him the edge as he opened up a small gap to his chasers. Van der Vyver, meanwhile, was enjoying a last run down the jumps as he headed for the finish and another dominant win. Van der Vyver clocked 52 minutes and 57 seconds, and 55 seconds ahead of Fourie, with Marco Thiel a further 15 seconds back in 3rd and Bristow 4th. Van der Vyver was pleased that his pre-race strategy had paid off.
We came here with a plan, and we started off. I gave it everything on the first lap to try and get a gap, and then I saw I had it, and we had a plan, and I just stuck to it. And at the end, the gap just got bigger and bigger, and at the end, I just had a push on the last climb, and then just cruised all the way down.
The elite women's race featured a small field of 6 riders who would do 6 laps in what was by now oven-like temperatures. Alongside 3 South Africans were 3 international riders as they set off on their first lap. Danielle Strader made a strong start as he reached the first corner in the lead, with Iranian rider Faranak Pataza on a wheel. Soon after them, the junior women lined up. Just 4 riders here, and shortly after they left the steep start, it was a turn of the youth women. 6 riders in the mix, and Nadia van Wyk the fastest up the first descent. The first lap of 14:48 was enough to break the elastic to the other 5 riders. In the elite race, Pataza was being chased by Austrian champion Mona Mitterweiler, while Daniel Stradum was sliding backwards. Another international German, Felicitas Geiger, was 4th. And Lehane Oosthuizen was not the first rider to struggle with traction on the slippery, steep switchback corner. The junior women's race was tight. Jodie McKinnon and Namibian Delicia Janse van Vuren were locked together at the front of the race. A second separated them after the first of 4 laps. Mitterweiler had made her way to the front of the elite race. The 22-year-old Austrian is the current marathon world champion and won 2 rounds of the UCI Cross Country World Cup last year. Pataza rides for the Pump for Peace team under the guidance of Ariane Luti, the Iranian champion, in 2nd place for now. Stradum, who like Mitterweiler will be taking on the Absa Cape Epic for the first time, was getting stronger as the race progressed. 27-year-old Geiger was a German cross-country champion back in 2017. For Mitterweiler, this was ideal preparation for the Absa Cape Epic, where she'll partner South African champion Candice Lill. Geiger was now in 4th place, just ahead of working mother and dedicated racer Oosthuizen, whom we got to meet on Toyota Cadence a short while back. The Austrian was not going to be caught though, but Danielle Strader was doing all she could to close the gap to her and stay clear of Paarl. Paarl Trails and the Spice Route had done an enormous amount of work on the trails in preparation for this event, and to have a World Cup winner and a world champion charging through the pump track section was great reward for their efforts. Mitterwaldner's lap times were evidence of her consistency. Aside from the first and last laps, which are both sub 15 minutes, she never strayed more than 10 seconds either way of 15 minutes and 15 seconds. After 2 sub 16 minute laps, Stratum settled into a rhythm and clocked mid 16 minute lap times. Crossing the line after 5 of the 6 lap, Mittenwaldner had a handy lead over Stratum, who rides for the efficient Infinity Insure team. The Austrian is a member of the powerful Cannondale Factory Racing Squad and had just won the Momentum Medical Scheme Tankwa Trek alongside South African champion Candice Lill. Stratum was third in the Koa Bokkeveld race alongside Namibia's Vera Lossa. Kaiger was enjoying the dry and dusty conditions. Jodie McKinnon showed fine speed and skill as she dominated the junior women's race. With a lap to go, Delicia Janse van Vieren was 2 minutes behind McKinnon. The Namibian gave a good example of taking a downhill switchback right-hander. Cape Townian Chloe Chesterton was in third in the juniors. Travelling substantially faster was Mittenwaldner on her way to the finish line, while Stratum was pushing hard all the way to the finish. In the end, Mittenwaldner was over 5 minutes clear of Stratum when she crossed the line at Spice Route. Faravnak Patazar was third, the Iranian champion 2 minutes and 9 seconds behind Danielle Stratum. For Mittenwaldner, the race could not have gone better.
So I'm here for training. I'm here to prepare for a very big stage race, which most South Africans know, the Cape Epic, which I'm going to race alongside Candice Lill. And I decided to stay all the way here from Tankwa to the Epic because I just love it here so much, to be honest. I love the people, the riding and the food and everything. I just enjoy it a lot. And then, the whole team is here basically, and the guys said they're racing in Paarl this weekend, so I said I joined the racing crew and had a nice effort here. It was a hot race, it was a good effort, and a nice first cross-country race for 2024.
The last event of the day was the men's elite race. Namibian champion Alex Miller, just one of a handful of high-class riders in the 38-rider field. Alan Hatherley and his Danish teammate Simon Andreasen were also there. The mid-afternoon sun was already taking a toll on the riders. The Paarl Bike Festival race had certainly attracted a stellar field. Aside from Hatherley and Andreasen, both former Under-23 world champions, was the current Under-23 world champion, their teammate Charlie Aldrich. All are with the Cannondale Factory Racing outfit. Add the names of the likes of local racers Johan van Zyl, Marco Hubert, Wessel Botha and Arne de Toy and many others. This was as strong an XCO field as has been assembled for a provincial race lately. The sheer power and speed of the top men combined with the steep vineyard climb soon split the field, and a long line of riders was strung out behind the leaders. Hatherley and Andreasen were on the front. The team had been in South Africa for a pre-season training camp. Neither are taking part in the Absa Cape Epic. Their focus is on the World Cup, which starts in Brazil in April. Their late season goals are Paris Olympics in August. Van Zyl and Miller of Toyota Specialized are Epic bound as a backup team for Matt Beers and Howard Grotz. The junior men were doing 5 laps and a field of 27 of the best young riders in the Cape, and a few from afar charged away from the start. Riding in smooth symmetry, Andreasen and Hatherley were clocking lap times of between 12 minutes and 8 seconds and 12:40 as they built a solid lead over their pursuers. Miller emerged as the best of those, around 20 seconds back, while Marco Hubert from the Mbuko team was in 4th place. Britain's Aldrich was next, with Insect Science pro Arne de Toy on his wheel. And Wessel Botha of Mbuko was dangling a few seconds behind them. Hatherley and Andreasen had the race in control and were taking turns on the front so as to allow each other an opportunity to set the pace, while the other had a rest. Van Zyl and Miller were employing a similar tactic behind them. The pump track afforded these highly talented riders a chance to express themselves. Miller is a highly versatile rider with wins in the Attakwas Extreme, the Namibian National Road Race Championships and the Tankwa Trek already this year. He'll also be hoping to go to his second Olympic Games in Paris later. Marco Hubert started the year very well, second at the Tankwa Trek and third at Attakwas. Good results for the 26-year-old. In the junior race, KwaZulu-Natal's Omar Wilson was leading Namibian Roger Suren by just under a minute. Putting the finishing touches to a classy ride were Alan Hatherley and Simon Andreasen. The Cannondale Factory Racing pair showed their world-class abilities as they crossed the line. Andreasen taking the win in 1 hour and 27 minutes ahead of his teammate. Alex Miller was a minute and 17 seconds behind to complete the podium by taking third place.
It was super tough. I think me and Alan got away pretty quickly, and then we were riding like a consistent hard pace, and then we were kind of working together to keep the gap, and then super happy with the first race of the season. You never know where you stand, and it's just nice to confirm that we are on the right way.
Yeah, to race in Paarl at this time of day is never going to be easy. Really physically demanding course, massive climb, straightforward descent. So yeah, just using the descent to try recover, and it was an interesting race. Simon and I managed to get away from the beginning really, and then just two teammates working together to get to the finish line, and Simon took the tricky sprint in the end. But yeah, awesome day out, and still early in the season for us. Preparations are going really good, and we've all got our eyes set on the World Cup season starting in April in Brazil.